The number of people moving to the Charlotte region has climbed to the highest level in more than a decade. From mid 2021 to mid 2022, about 113 people moved to the Charlotte region every single day, and it was the highest we've seen since 2010. Hello, beautiful people. I am Kendra Conyers, a licensed real estate agent here in the Charlotte metro area. I would love it if you could like, subscribe, and tune in for great information about the real estate market. 113 daily movers is higher than some peer metros like Nashville, which had about 82 daily movers, and Raleigh, which had about 70 daily movers, but lower than metros like Austin, who had roughly 130 daily movers, Tampa, who had approximately 135 or 185 daily movers. So Dallas and Houston are much larger metros than Charlotte. They had a net migration from 2021 to 2022, seeing as high as 351 daily movers respectively in that same time period. So where are people moving from? Primarily, people are moving from larger metros in the Northeast and South, along with smaller North Carolina metros like Asheville and Winston-Salem. Many people are coming to Charlotte from regions that are more expensive areas, suggesting that this region's lower cost of living is a factor for some movers. 3 of the 4 metros with the most net migration into the Charlotte metro area had higher cost of living, like more than the national average. So these are cities like Miami, New York, Washington, D.C. So this jump in net migration from California, Florida, and New York is as much about fewer people moving from the Carolinas as it is about more residents relocating here. And it's not surprising that many of the characteristics of the regions that they are attracting residents here would make it sticky for also the existing residents that are already here. I expect that the strong net migration seen in 2021 to 2022 to continue in the Charlotte region as more people decide to stay in the region as well as move here. So in the short term, higher interest rates, which has the most significant factor in the decreasing housing affordability over the past 18 months, make high cost metro even less affordable. And so Charlotte seems more attractive. In the mid to long term, I expect that technology advancements will allow for more remote work and greater flexibility for people to live in areas like Charlotte, which offers affordability and high quality of life. It should expect to increase these numbers more. So that was a lot. And you're probably thinking, well, what does this mean? Why is it even important? So the number of people who move to the Charlotte region is an important statistic because it's hard to process large numbers. So 113 people, or about twice the size of the Carolina Panthers roster during a regular season, moving to the region every day is easier for you to wrap your mind around than saying 41,163 people are moving to Charlotte every year. So having statistics that are digestible is important for the select Charlotte team as they pitch the region to businesses around the world considering relocating or expanding. In addition, impactful statistics can help those in our community understand the pace of our growth and the importance of investing in infrastructure to support it. Given the influx of people moving to the region, a trend I expect to continue and potentially accelerate, investing in infrastructure like transportation, like education, housing is very important. It's more important than ever. And because our region largely depends on our migration for population growth data, it's important to understand how the region is changing and how the region is growing. So if you're considering buying a home, but you're worried about how your job or switching your job may impact your mortgage application, don't let that stop you from reaching your home ownership goals. With the job market constantly evolving, the rise of the gig economy, job switching has become more common than ever. And so while it may seem like a red flag to lenders, there are ways to navigate the mortgage process and improve your stability as a prospective homebuyer. When you're applying for a mortgage, your lender will definitely want to make sure that you have and can keep a job that will allow you to make your mortgage payments with no problem. Many prefer that you be at your current job for at least 2 years, but this varies depending on the lender's rules and depending on your situation. So here's some things your lender will evaluate. Employment status. Lenders like stable jobs with steady incomes. If you're self-employed or do seasonal work or have a history of frequent job changes, this may raise some concerns. Type of employment. Lenders may prefer certain type of employment over others. For example, salary positions are seen as more stable than contract or freelance jobs. Length of employment. A history of longer stays at each employer suggests that you have a track record of holding down a job and you'll be a less risky borrower. Income and debt. To determine how much you can afford to borrow, lenders like to look at your debt to income ratio, which is your DTI, which measures how much of your income goes to paying down your debt, including your mortgage. A high DTI makes it harder to get approved. Gaps in your employment. That can be a red flag. So it's best to be honest and transparent about everything on your mortgage application. Your lender will want to understand the reason for any gaps of employment and how you maintain your financial stability during that time. So it's a good idea to prepare ahead of time an explanation so that you're not caught off guard. So before you get started on your home buying journey, I just want to leave you with 8 of my top mortgage misconceptions that I feel like that you need to know. So number 1, you need to put down 20% to buy a house. So while a whopping 20% down payment can help you avoid private mortgage insurance, which is PMI, it's important to know that that's not the only way to get a mortgage. There's the Fannie Mae Home Ready Mortgage, which offers you down payment options as low as 3%. Also, conventional loans can offer you a down payment as low as 3%. And VA and USDA loans don't require a down payment at all for qualified borrowers. FHA loans are another option. They only require a down payment as low as 3.5%. Number 2, you need a perfect credit score to get a mortgage. While having a solid credit score is definitely a plus, and when it comes to getting a mortgage and scoring a lower interest rate, it is not the be-all, end-all. Thankfully, some great home options are available for those with less than perfect credit scores. FHA loans are government-backed and designed to help home buyers with lower credit scores qualify for a mortgage. If you're a veteran or active duty service member or eligible surviving spouse, you may qualify for a VA loan, which requires a lower credit score than most conventional loans. Similarly, USDA loans have lower credit score thresholds and is an excellent option if you're open to buying in like rural areas. Number 3, you should always go for the best rate. While interest rates are important when choosing a lender, that is not the only factor that you should consider. Other factors such as closing costs, fees, customer service should also be taken into account. When you work with a lender that has bad processes and bad customer service, it can lead to a bumpy and stressful home buying experience. These kind of lenders can slow down the mortgage process by not responding to requests for documents or having a disorganized underwriting process, which means it can cause us to miss out on important dates and even cause you to miss out on a home that you have your heart set on. Number 4, you can't get a mortgage if you're self-employed. So a qualified mortgage is a type of loan that is considered less risky, making it more likely for you to be able to afford your mortgage payments. So before taking out a mortgage, the lender must assess your ability to repay it in good faith as a part of the ability to repay rule. But if you are self-employed or have freelance job or something of that nature, you could qualify for a non-qualified mortgage. And so this would be another option. It's things like bank statement loans. Well, they'll take your bank statements for the past 12 months and use that to qualify for you. And so there's other routes that you can go to without having to go the traditional mortgage route. And you'll still be able to buy a home. It may cause you to have to pay a slightly higher down payment, and it may have a higher interest rate. But at least once you get into the loan, then you can just refinance it down the line. So with these loans, borrowers may have the flexibility of using alternative methods for income verification and things of that nature. Number 5, pre-qualification and pre-approval are the same. While often used interchangeably, pre-qualification and pre-approval refer to 2 different stages of the mortgage application process. So pre-qualification is kind of like dipping your toe in the water. You give the mortgage lender some basic financial info, and they give you a rough idea of how much that you might be qualified for or what they might be willing to lend you. Whereas a pre-approval is a bigger deal. The lender actually has dug into your credit score, has looked at your income and your assets and other financials to give you an affirmative answer on how much they're willing to lend you. So a pre-approval takes longer, but it's a more accurate picture of what you can afford. Number 6, you can apply for a mortgage repeatedly with no effect. So while it can be tempting to apply for a mortgage as soon as you see a house, or just keep on going as you're under the home buying journey, don't overdo it, because applying for multiple mortgage loans through different lenders outside of your 30-day shopping window can hurt your credit score. So you want to limit your mortgage application to like 2 to 3 lenders who can provide you with great service and give you a way that you can price match. That's why I recommend going through the pre-approval process, so you'll know exactly what you can afford before you start house hunting, and you'll have the one lender that you've narrowed down that you're ready to apply with and go for when you're able to find the house. Number 7, you have to pay off debts before applying for a mortgage. So while having a high level of debt can impact your ability to get approved for a mortgage, it is unnecessary to pay off all your debts before applying. Lenders consider your DTI, which is your debt to income ratio, to figure out how much you can afford. So to do this, they'll divide your gross monthly income by your total debt. So for example, let's say you earn $4,000 in income each month and have $1,000 in monthly debt payments. So your DTI will be less than 25%. The general rule is to keep the DTI at 43% or less. Number 8, getting a home loan is way too complicated. So while getting a mortgage can sound overwhelming, it doesn't have to be. It's really just 4 simple steps: pre-approval, home shopping, underwriting, and then closing. Once you're pre-approved, you shop for homes within your price range, you find a home you want to buy, you get your offer accepted, then you go to underwriting where your lender will verify all the information that you provided during the pre-approval stage and make sure that's still valid. Once everything has checked out, you move on to the closing. Sign your documents, grab your keys, and you are officially a homeowner. Thanks so much for watching. Please visit my website at www.kendraconyers.com for more information about me, or email me. My email is kendra@kendraconyers.com if you need assistance in buying or selling a house in the Charlotte metro area or in the Fayetteville, Fort Liberty area.